So to invert that question that I asked at the top of this, if I am to come to you at some point in the future, James, and I say, listen, I need a divorce, what am I likely to give as the reason for that based on, who I am and how that correlates to the clients like me that you deal with?
Yeah, so the reason you're going to give and the underlying reason is different. So the reason you're going to give is going to be a practical reason, which is either I've met someone else, she's met someone else, we've had a terrible fight and I've said things that we can't take back. I had a spectacular failure financially and she's just bailing on me because she sees that the future's really rocky, or she made some terrible decision and did something awful that's a betrayal that I can't abide by. But again, that's the presenting reason. Underneath that is the bigger reason, which is we lost the plot. We lost the plot. Like that's the start of a chapter in a story. It's the end of a chapter and the start of a chapter, that photo. Like the first chapter in that story was this person and this person wandering around on the same planet trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what they're doing. And they have their origin story and they have their complementary pathologies that developed over time. And then, they found each other. 8 billion people in the world, and somehow their paths intersected, and they started to have this connection. And so there was the you, and there was the me, and then there was the we. And that Venn diagram started, right? And then you start to fill it with things. You fill it with people, you fill it with experiences. And this is just a stop along the way. Like these two people, this is just a moment. It's an incredible moment. It can be like Qumran. It can be like a moment that there was this and then everything after this. It's a punctuation mark. Like I like to say that life has punctuation marks. Like you had a kid, you lost your job, you got a job, whatever. Those are punctuation marks. This is a big punctuation mark. And it will either be, the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning. You get to write that. You get to write that chapter. But this is a moment for me, the reason why this is a beautiful moment, is this is a moment of tremendous optimism. This is a moment where the two of you said, you're my favorite person. And I want to write this next chapter with you as having a different title in it. But really, like the title's just a symbol. The ring is just a symbol. It's just a symbol of a commitment. It's a symbol of a promise. And all a promise is a symbol of intention. That's all. It's just an intention. Our intention is we're not going to be alone anymore. We're going to do this together. And by the way, you're already not alone. The fact that you got to this place, that you would ask this question, that's a beautiful confirmation of the fact that you don't feel alone.
We would have lost the plot.
Yeah. You would have lost the plot of the story. So this is a story. Where does this story go? Where do you want it to go? You want it to go to a future that features the two of you old together someday. Maybe it features children. Maybe it features companion animals.
And what is the most likely reason that we would lose the plot?
You stop paying attention.
You
stop doing what you're currently doing. How did you get to this beautiful moment? You start doing the opposite. You got to this moment by paying attention. You got to this moment by making this a priority. You got to this moment by keeping this front of mind, by valuing. What is this but a symbol of you are valuable to me? Why did you get on one knee? Why do you get on one knee? I mean, think about the symbols of all of this. We live in a world of symbols. Like the outfit I'm wearing, I'm saying something to you. I take this seriously. That's why you wear a suit, is you wear a suit to say, I take this seriously. So why did you do this? What is this a symbol of? I'm down on one knee. Why? I'm humbling myself in front of you. I'm offering something to you. I'm hoping you will accept the gift I am giving to you. Like there's something very lovely about that symbol.
Is this what you call slippage?
Slippage is exactly when you start to unintentionally, again, people rarely have slippage intentionally. It's usually that, okay, we got that knocked out now. We can focus on the other stuff. And that's slippage. Slippage is these small disconnections that in of themselves mean nothing. Like no single raindrop's responsible for the flood. That little raindrop, it's just a little raindrop. That's all it really is. But slippage is this gradually increasing number of small disconnections that eventually leads to the giant marriage killer that you come in and say, here's why we're getting divorced. But it wasn't that. It was all these little pieces. But at some point, you were there.
Do you think people spot the slippage in the moment, but they don't think it's big enough to fight about or do something about?
100%. And that's the cognitive bias. That's the fallacy that will keep me in business for the rest of my life. Because people just don't want temporary discomfort. Like our desire for joy versus our aversion to pain. Our aversion to pain will win every single time. We know this. That's why there was an opiate crisis more so than a cocaine crisis. Because one of those things is about making you feel really good and the other is about getting rid of pain. Like the human desire, any scientist will tell you this. Ask our friend Andrew Huberman, ask anybody. They will tell you the human desire to escape pain is the controlling aspect of self. So escaping pain, even discomfort, and again, this is pushed by the narrative that love should be easy. If anything's uncomfortable about it, you must be doing it wrong. Maybe you're not with your soulmate. It would be so easy and effortless. You'd always know what the other person wanted. You'd never have to tell them. They would know. They would know you well enough to know what it is that you need, and they would get you. Even though, by the way, really? Really? Like, I'm 53 years old. I've been in therapy for 20 years. I get like 70% of this guy, I think, like at best. Like, and I'm in here, and I get about 70% of this guy. Like, and I'm supposed to get you 100% because we're exchanging bodily fluids. Like I'm supposed to, just because we've slept in the same bed, I'm supposed to get you 100% and get ahead of stuff. Like I get me 70%. And that's with a lot of reflection. So I really think that it's wildly unfair for us to think that, this should be effortless, this should be easy, and that it should never be uncomfortable. It's okay to be, like, I think because of what I do for a living, I have to tell people things they don't want to hear all day, because it's true. And I tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And when clients say to me at the end of a consultation or a conversation, like, oh my God, I feel so much better, I always go, that's great, that wasn't my intention. Because I don't want anyone I talk to professionally to think I am telling you something to make you feel better. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm not a therapist. I'm here to tell you the truth. And if the truth makes you feel better, great. If the truth makes you uncomfortable, at least you know the truth now. So I feel like in relationship, again, if what you want most is lasting, lifelong connection where we get each other as best we can help each other navigate self and each other as best we can, and we cannot lose the plot of a story that is really beautiful right now.
So everybody listening can probably think about something in their relationship which has gotten a little bit worse since they first got into that relationship. Yeah. And it could be the way that they argue is getting a little bit worse. They're not listening as much. Yeah. Maybe the tone has gone up, or it's getting a little bit more angry. Yeah. Whatever it is in their relationship, what do they need to do now? It's like, it's not flooded yet. Yeah. But there's a puddle.
Best time to look at it. Best time to talk about it.
There's a puddle.
So what I do for a living in court is I try to manipulate people's emotional state. That's my job. Like, my job is to go and make the judge like my client, dislike the other side. I want the other side to feel scared. I want my client to feel safe. I want the court reporter who's taking things down and the court officer to like me and to like my client, so that when we take a break in testimony and they go in the back with the judge, they go, I like Jim, he's a really good lawyer. Or, oh, his client seems so nice. Or, boy, the other guy seems like a jerk. Or, boy, that other lawyer's a jerk. Like, so I'm here manipulating people's emotional state. That's my job. Like, that's what a trial lawyer does. We manipulate people's emotional state. We play with the levers, right? So I say this as to say we should be doing this in our relationships. There's nothing nefarious about that. These are tools, and how you use them will give you a sense of whether it's good or bad or whatever. Look, if what you are doing is to maintain connection, how you parse it is going to be everything. So even the way you just said that, like, well, something's kind of going wrong in the relationship. Okay, we're already off to the wrong narrative. Because when someone tells you something's been done wrong, there's this automatic defensive response of, well, I didn't mean to do it wrong. And well, it's not my fault that I did it wrong. Like, it brings out something defensive in us rather than saying something's changed. Have you noticed that something changed? Have you noticed that? Remember when we used to talk to each other about, sometimes like, and I don't know if it's something that I've done, and if it is, I really would appreciate you telling me. But like when we have been fighting lately, like the tone seems to have changed. Have you noticed that? Is it just me? Now it's a non-defensive dialogue. I'm not accusing you of something. I'm noting that something has changed. And by the way, good. We love look at how much we love each other in that picture. Like, put the wedding photos up somewhere. Look at that moment. We were nuts about each other in that moment. We were everything the other person ever wanted and more. So anytime something has changed from that, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know? And by the way, not in an accusatory fashion. The most common one is, we're not having sex as much as we used to. We're not having sex as we used to. We're not having much sex. I'm not getting as much oral sex as I used to get. We're not getting, okay. There's a way to say that, the way I just said it, that's just going to blow up in your face. It's not going to work. Because it's, well, you haven't been around as much. Well, I haven't been around as much as I'm working so much, and I don't see you spending less. Well, honestly, if it comes down to that, I'd spend a lot to not have you treat me this way. Now we're just having a fight. Whereas if we say like, remember when we went away? I was just thinking yesterday about when we went away that weekend. Remember, we ended up not even leaving the room. It was so fun. I love when we're like feeling that connected and close, I feel like lately sometimes like we're maybe not as connected and close. Like, and if there's something I'm doing that's making that, like I really want to get it right. Like I really want to get it right. There's something about apologizing first, like having some humility in relationship that has tremendous value. Like when a lawyer, like I'll tell you one of my trade secrets. My job is a very combative job sometimes. So there's times where being very aggressive is the right move, but there's times where being aggressive just doesn't accomplish anything. And if I'm interacting with a lawyer for the first time, this is someone I haven't had cases with, so we don't know each other except by reputation, and they come at me really hard, the first thing I'll do is apologize. I'll say, I'm sorry, I just have to say, like, your tone, like you're coming at me, like if I said something in our initial interaction that made you feel like that I didn't have respect for you, or that, I didn't value your perspective, or I have a tendency to interrupt people sometimes. I have a tendency to, so if I offended you, I apologize. Because the way that you're kind of talking to me, like I feel like I must have said something wrong, or so I apologize, absolutely, if I did. What choice do they have but to then go, oh, no, that's just my tone. That's just how of course. Look, hey, we all have a game face or a thing. I just felt like, oh my God, like this guy's coming at me so hard. Like I felt like I must have said something inadvertently, or, and then everyone's kind of calmer now, So I think that this is a very easy way to invite discussion about these small preventative maintenance things without turning it into a whole, because we just think that, if I bring that up, it's going to turn into a whole thing. It doesn't have to turn into a whole thing, period.
Yeah, I think I asked that in part because it's something that I've like subtly noticed that when we first met 7 years ago, we were much more patient. Yeah. And I'm like, I probably need to have a conversation about returning to being more patient when we're trying to solve problems. We kind of like rush through them now. And I'm like, you play this forward. You play this forward a decade or 2 decades. I'm like, damn, we're really not going to be great at solving problems if we don't just like slow down with them. Yeah. And a lot of that just means like listening to the other person's point of view a bit more intently. Yeah, and that's hard. That's hard because, your brain moves quickly. Like it's something I struggle with in relationship for sure. Like any kind of relationship is I'm very like, all right, come on, we got to land this plane. Like, let's go. Like skip to the end. Time is money. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going with this? Like, and I'm terrible at it. I interrupt people constantly. Like I'm not good at that. And it's something I'm working on because I think I know what they have to say next. And I'm wrong a lot of the time, especially in relationship, I'm wrong. So like it's not a popular opinion to say that men and women are different, but men and women are different. And I don't say that to say one is superior and one is inferior. I say that to say that we're different. We navigate things differently. We experience life differently. We're treated differently from a societal standpoint. We've had different life experiences. And I genuinely believe that it would be very valuable for us in relationship to sort of think, hey, I don't
really know everything about how this person is wired. It took me fully 40 some odd years, if not 50, to figure out that if I'm in a romantic relationship with a woman and she comes home and starts telling me about something that's upsetting to her, that she doesn't want what my male friends want. Like if I called a buddy of mine, if I called you, I've called you before, if I called you and I said, Steven, I'm having this problem, man. I'm dealing with one of my sons and he's doing X, Y, and Z. If you went, that must be very hard, Jim. I'd be like, yes, it is, Steven. That's why I called you. Do you have any suggestions? Like, what do you think I should do here? Like, you're a smart guy. I called you because I wanted you to help me. Very often, that is the opposite. Most women want you to hear them, give them some support. You guys can have this conversation. A couple can have this conversation. You can say, hey, listen, right now in this moment, you're not coming to me with a problem. But when you come to me with a problem, my natural proclivity is to start throwing solutions. And I've learned, or I heard Sexton say on Steven's show that, maybe that's not the best way. Do you find that's true? Like, do you want me to maybe, like when you say these things, could I? Because again, this is a job. I want to be good at this job. Why is it wrong for me to ask you how can I be better at this job?
I found it really useful to state explicitly to my fiance what my needs are in those situations. And again, it didn't come naturally to her and vice versa. Like what she needs from me in those situations is the opposite of what I need from her in those situations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking particularly when she's like going through something and she's struggling with something, she wants me to be present, and she often wants like some advice on it, and her advice is like the opposite of mine often. And in the inverse, when I'm going through those situations, I actually don't want to talk about it at all.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. But
she wants to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
But what would be wrong with saying in that moment, I've got a menu. I've got a menu for you. Can you tell me which one you want? Because just like you said, you're hungry. And I said, what are you hungry for? You want sushi? Do you want me to make you something? Do you want some cheese toast? Do you want us to go out someplace and we can get burgers? What is it you want, right? Mm-hmm. Couldn't you just say, hey, I've got a menu. I can just listen and tell you I love you and just be here. I can give you some solutions and how I might handle the problem. I can try to distract you and tell you a funny story about something that happened to me today, or I can pick you up and tickle you. We can go in the other room and roll around in the sheets for a little while and take your mind off it, and then we can figure out which of the other options you might want. We can go for a walk together and we can talk about it or not talk about it. What would you like on the menu? Because I'm serving all of those things for you. Which one would you like? And the worst thing she could say is, I don't know. And then you go, okay, then I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna pick one, and if it feels good, great. And if it doesn't, you'll tell me, okay? And I won't be offended. Like, again, what'd that take, Steven? 30 seconds? 30 seconds, throw that out there. Like, that's, instead of just blindly throwing darts at the target, not knowing where the target is.
If you had to give everybody listening one relationship ritual that you would think would most increase the probability that they stay together, stay in love, what would that relationship ritual be?
I think that once a week you should make a specific task of telling your partner 3 things that you really like about them. And every week it should be something different. I think you should tell your partner, if you really want to take the advanced edition of this, if you want to turn it from a 30-second task into like a whole 5 minutes that you devote to your relationship. I feel about relationship maintenance the way that, I don't know if you've ever heard this story, I think the Dalai Lama is the one credited with saying it, so that a high-end executive, paid a colossal amount of money to have a private audience with the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama said to him, if you're searching for inner peace, you should meditate for 15 minutes a day. And the executive said, I don't have 15 minutes a day to meditate. And he said, then you should meditate for an hour a day. I feel the same way. If you don't have 5 minutes a week to devote to your spouse or partner, then you're going to need hours. I think you should actually set aside hours. Like 5 minutes a week, I would suggest the following exact, just systematic, basic thing. This is what my next book is about. It's about a systematic approach to being good at love. And the idea is, once a week, I think here's the advanced version, but minimum, just write down, send an email, send a text, whatever it is, tell your partner 3 things that you love about them. The advanced version is, tell your partner 3 things you love about them. Tell them 3 times this week that they made you feel loved. Here's 3 things you did this week that made me feel loved. Like here's 3, when you sent me that message and said that made me feel so soft, that made me feel very loved. Like whatever it is, I'm sure you could find off the top of your head 3 things that she did this week that made you feel loved. And it's only Monday.
People at home are in relationships right now. They're hearing you say that, and some of them are still not going to do it. Why do you think they're not going to do it? Like, what is that mental conversation they're having where they go,
I think they think it's pointless. I think they might be at a point in their relationship where it feels like, what would be the point? We're so far gone, it wouldn't help. I think more than anything, my real feeling on this, the secret that I don't think people want to say out loud, I think we're terrified. I think we're terrified. And I think what we're terrified of is not the future of our relationship. I think what we're terrified of is that we feel like we're not worthy of love. I think it's most people's fundamental terror. I think most people's fundamental fear is that if you knew me, you wouldn't love me. If you could see me, the real me, like the me that's in here, all the weakness, all the fear, all the horrible, selfish thoughts, all the perversity, all the darkest things that are inside of me and every single one of us. That if you saw that, you couldn't possibly love me. And the feeling that comes with that, which is, so you love the character I'm playing, that's not showing you all those things. I'm just showing you the best parts of myself. If you saw the real me, you wouldn't really love me. I think our greatest fear is that we're not worthy of love. And I think that there's a part of us that's afraid to like poke at, what do you love about me? What do I love about you? What am I getting wrong? Like, again, like finishing that exercise, here's 3 things I love about you. Here's 3 things you did this week that made me feel loved. Here's 3 things I could have done better. Or tell me 3 things I could have done better. Or tell your partner 3 things they could have done better. And then if you want to have a fun one thrown in there, because I think you should end on fun stuff, here's 3 things you did this week that made me want to have sex with you.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.